But hey, what's
How you
happening?
doing, man?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Crow family, to CrowCast episode 31, where we shall be talking to the wonderful Andy James very shortly. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I can see them all there in the list. They're still with us, but
They are, man. I mean, 31 weeks. Jesus Christ. Must be doing something right, don't they?
yeah, fair play. What's up, Crow
Yeah.
family?
Evening all. And what I've noticed over the last couple of weeks as well, mate, we've got people watching from all over the world now, which is amazing. Thank you all, guys. There's people from America, Canada. We even had somebody from Japan, I think, last week or the week before, which was really, really interesting. Because they're watching on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. So it's really cool, man.
Wow, Crows are going global.
That's without our new German friends as well. There was a lot tuning in for last week's show. And I think a couple are with us tonight as well via YouTube. So hello as well. Thanks for supporting us in Rock Blast.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm back on the drink.
Yeah, yes.
You tell us, mate, what's better than whiskey? What's better than straight whiskey?
Go on.
Straight whiskey in a CrowCast mug.
Yes. Well, we jokingly said in our group the other day, didn't we? Are we going to start the drinking? So I've put an order in. I have. I've put an order in for some Jupiler, which is Belgian beer, and of course Kolsch. I've put an order in for some German beer. So I think, the next few CrowCasts are basically going to be like episode 1 to 20, 24, 25.
Well, you know, we've had crap news now again this week. Wales in lockdown, so it's a direct result, isn't it? It's back to Zoom bars and drinking. And I don't know if he'd be playing a gig this year. So I don't know. What have we got to do in it? What can you do?
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, I said that to you the other day. I'm quite up for some virtual shenanigans. I mean, I think that's how we did some of our best creative work this lockdown. It was incredible.
That's true. That's true.
It is true, man. I know, like, people might be like, oh, yeah. No, actually, talking at 3 o'clock in the morning about a bottle of whiskey came up with certain ideas that we've brought to the table and they've happened, haven't they? Like, so.
Yep.
Yep. Why not the hip flask, Shane? Why not the hip flask? Jane Smith is asking.
I'll tell you why, Jane. You can't get enough in that hip flask for the length of CrowCast. So I basically got that, and I got
that. Joshua's asking what whiskey, Shane?
JD.
Oof.
I normally like the old JD Honey or Applejack. That's amazing. But I've gone with the straight JD today.
So. Oh, Stephen said he's get some Keo beer in. Yes, I absolutely love Keo. That was Cyprian. Yet again, it was like Kolsch, the Cyprian version, though. But beautiful, mate. Really, really nice ale. As Shiner would say, tastes like shandy. Right. In a good way, not in a bad way to any of the drink companies. In a good fucking way. It just went down so easy. That it was a bit like a shandy on a really hot summer's day, like, so.
Right. Ah, cool. I have to try it, huh? Get some Welsh whiskey, yes. Bit of Penderyn. Beautiful.
Oof. So, yeah, just plain straight. Yeah, go on.
I just saw a couple of comments here, like in the new backdrop. Yeah, if anybody recognize that's what wraps around my piano. We're not gigging at the moment, so stick it on the wall. and reminisce of how we used to do things. Yeah, it took me a while, I'm not gonna lie. Looks all right.
Looks banging, but looks absolutely brilliant. I mean,
looks like I've got a crow constantly on my head. Look, King Crow.
It's like a halo of crows.
Yeah.
It could be worse, mate. You could have a chandelier makes you look like Tommy Cooper, like Dave. That's the best one so far. That is.
You know what's going to happen here now, don't you? Right? Someone's going to screenshot this. Well, they're definitely going to do it now. I'm going to say, the likes of Darren Griffiths, perhaps. Screenshot, and it'll be a pigeon. It'll be a pigeon there. Instead of our 5-head crow. I know your game, Darren. I know your game.
Yeah, got you some new lights as well, but looking sharp.
Yeah, I've gone with blue. I couldn't go with that pink that you got because you went there.
It's technically red and blue, but when you blend them together, it gives that kind of, you know, Pornhub effect.
After these Jack Daniels, I'll be seeing all the colours.
What I'll do is I got the remotes, but I'll start changing them throughout the show, so it just really fucks with your head. You're like, he looks fucking green. You're looking at the fucking rough, you are, man.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh man, yeah, man. So have you got any birthdays and shout outs?
Yes, let's do a couple of shout outs. We got Rob Robertson got in touch. Hi Shane, hope you're well. Love the Germany gig. Hope you recovered from the COVID test. Just about. Can you wish my wife Claire a happy birthday for today, please? She works in the event industry and is used to traveling a lot across Europe with a job. We feel you, Claire. Happy birthday, lovely.
Happy birthday.
Hope you've had a good one. Cheers, Rob, for getting in touch. We got Tom Caskey, his 50th birthday today. Tom is from Perth in Scotland, as a big Crow fan, as well as a big fan of a small band called, let me get this right, Iron Maiden. Never heard of him.
Oof.
Never heard of him. Happy birthday, Tom. Hope you've had a great day, bud. We also got a birthday which was yesterday. Victoria McCaughlin. It was her birthday yesterday. She said, I love a birthday shout out from you guys on CrowCast. I think you're all amazing and your music's incredible. Thank you so much, Victoria. Happy birthday for yesterday.
What was her name?
Victoria McCaughlin.
Nice. Good job, son. Good job.
Yeah, that's even hard for the Welsh. You know, McCaughlin.
What was it? McCaughlin. McCaughlin. Yeah, cool.
McCaughlin. Yeah, you got to go Scottish for that, I think.
Yeah, you did it. Job done.
We've also got a shout out, Claire Jones, that just had twins. Congratulations, Claire. She also went on to say her other son, Joel, loves and sings What's the Next Line? Yeah. Well done, Joel. Maybe you could do a video, send it in.
That's a cool idea. Put it on the fan page. That's brilliant. Brilliant idea.
Awesome. That's all the shout outs.
Fabulous. Shall we bring on our awesome guest?
Yes, man. Looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the insanely talented Mr. Andy James.
How's it going? You right?
What's happening, brother?
Yeah. Is it on? Yeah.
Yes, on.
You were on, mate.
How's it going, lads? All right?
Wicked, man. Look at that room. That's amazing, bro.
Well, this has kind of been my lockdown project over my right shoulder. Just fucking about with arcades and stuff. Yeah.
You're just bringing a pub into the house, innit? That's what you're doing. You're just bringing
Well, I can't actually take credit for anything in here because my father-in-law, pretty much built this with his bare hands.
Wow.
And
a
friend of mine, Joey, did all the lighting in here as well. So, yeah, it's come on, but it's quite a cool, like COVID cave, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Especially living around there.
Yeah. Did your mate do all the LED strip lighting that I've seen on like your Instagram vids and stuff where they kind of come down?
Yeah, this is all the same lighting. So he came up. It took about a couple of days to sort of do it all, but it all runs off the Wi-Fi. And there's a laptop around the corner of one of them arcades where it just runs off like a sort of DMX program. So you can have like all individual different colours if you want, and they can flash. You can have a nightclub in here if you want, but I don't go that far. I just wanted some decent lights in here. You know what I mean?
As you can see, man, we're all about the room. We're all upgrading our end. It's what I said to you on the phone earlier. We're kind of getting into the whole like online streaming, how to make your kind of cave better, like, you know. So
yeah, it looks good, mate. I mean, both the rooms, looks neat and tidy. I'm pretty sure they don't stay like that all the time, do they?
Fuck no.
Literally 30 minutes before we go live, he's frantic, but just like,
yeah,
I bet.
And the worst
I
thing
bet.
is as well is if you're I bet Shane's the same as well. I don't know if you are, and if you're demoing and stuff, everything looks really neat now. If I took a photo, all the leads are kind of in place. But when you're demoing and if you're pulling stuff in and out or whatever, there's just fucking shit everywhere, like, you know. So
Well,
yeah.
usually behind the camera is where the crime scene is, especially in there. It always looks good on camera, but like anything that side of it is just a complete mess. You know what I mean? So, like
Completely,
I've got
man.
about 5,000 guitar picks here in my box. Can never decide which one, and it's just crap everywhere. So you're not seeing.
I tell you what, Shane, you could do with one of them, can you, mate? He always asks for a guitar pick.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
The boys always have a pop at me because whenever we go to rehearsals, I never bring a pick, so I just borrow the boys. Like, are they all you, Andy? Are all those picks you?
Yeah. I mean, I've probably stolen a few over the years, but I mean, they've ended up in my possession. That's literally the trial and error process I went through before deciding on a signature pick, which I don't even use anymore, which was well worth it. What do I use now? Hang on. I use these now.
Oh, very cool.
I did. I mean, for years I was using these Jazz Tone 208 Dunlop picks, but I didn't really like the material and they wore down pretty quickly. So I kind of stopped using that, decided to use a load of, different picks and stuff. Because I'd have gigs where I'd be using a different pick every song. I don't know. It's just weird. Like from one day to the next, you'll use a pick and then it'd be like, yeah, that don't feel very good. And then you'll chuck that away, use another one, think, oh yeah, this is cool for about a week. And then you chuck that away. And then, so I finally, I'll see if I can find one. Finally decided on, where is it? Got all these picks and I can't even find the one that I'm meant to have. Oh yeah, here we go. It was this one. It's a little bit worn down anyway, but there should have been the logo on the other side. But the cool story behind that was I've been using them for about sort of 2 or 3 years, so I did decide to stick with those. And then I got invited to go and do a guitar camp for John Petrucci from Dream Theater. He was doing this like guitar camp and that. So I went down to one of the Dream Theater shows and I just gave him like a tin of picks, which was like these ones. Just go, try them, see what you think. And I think he might have even either used one that night or like the following night or something. And he just became like, I can't go back to my picks because he was using like Jazz 3s before. So I remember me and Tam, we had to drive down to a Dream Theater show in London on that weekend. And I just gave him a bag of like 50 picks out of my stash. And so he used them for like the rest of the tour. Then he went back to Dunlop and said, I don't want to work on the signature pick we were working on because I've decided I've changed pick completely. But I want to make this, which is the one I gave him, but just a little bit smaller. So Dunlop were like, all right, yeah, fair enough. So they made him a pick. And then the whole thing turned into this kind of like Andy James, John Petrucci signature pick campaign thing for Dunlop. And then it sort of sparked the whole new range of flow picks, which is what probably one of their biggest selling pick ranges now. So it kind of just spiraled out of control for that one, giving someone a pick tin to a whole marketing campaign for a new pick line for Dunlop. But it's bad how things work.
You happy with that pick now, are you?
Yeah, I use it occasionally, but weirdly, I stopped using it on the Death Punch tour when I kind of just got randomly stuck in halfway through. I was using the 3mm version, which is this. Which has got like a grip on it and stuff, and it's a different color. So I was using that for like most of the songs, but towards the end of the set, I realized a lot of the clean stuff that we had to play, it didn't really kind of pop as well as using a thinner pick. So I think I actually did the last couple of gigs with one of Jason Hook's picks, just because it sounded a little bit better for some of the stuff that they were doing. It felt completely like weird to me. I wasn't a huge fan of, because I know what the picks are. They're like a Dunlop T3. I mean, this is all very pick nerdy all of a sudden. But then when I got home, I realised I'd used these before, which is like a 0.88 triangle Ultex. And I've just been using these ever since March, and I can't use anything else now. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to be using them. But Dunlop aren't exactly on the blower going, oh yeah, do you want us to do another signature pick? I think they're done with me, to be honest.
That's amazing. Look at the detail, Ron. Look at the detail there, though, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's incredible.
Like Joe Public out in the crowd ain't noticing that. Do you know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
level of, that's incredible, bro. That's
It's actually the most important part of guitar playing, I'd say, is the pick. 100%. If the pick ain't right, things aren't going to feel right, and then you're wondering why you're not making any progress or whatever. Because sometimes you can be like a really good player and you'd be sort of like struggling with something. The minute you change a bit of plastic, it can, you know, turn your world upside down and be like, fucking hell, I can play all of a sudden. So yeah, it's mad, but the guitar pick is definitely an overlooked piece of equipment. Don't worry about spending thousands on guitars or amps. Just get the right pick and you'll be fine.
Great, yeah.
That's such good advice. That is. That makes complete sense. Like, do you know what I mean?
What about the sticks then? Is that the same thing for that or not really?
Yeah, no, it is, man. I when I was super young, I thought it was cool to use the biggest and the fattest tree trunks, which just make your wrists absolute fucking agony, like, and you can't really get the note value. So if you're trying to do like little accents or little ghost notes, it was hard to get the drag or the balance right. So I was using something like 2Bs, which I'll show you a pair when we see each other next. They're like fucking tree trunks, unless you've seen them. They're really thick and heavy. I
did see a Thomas Lang drum clinic once, and I couldn't believe the size of the thing. In fact, I don't even think he was using the ball end of the the drum. He was holding it like stick, you know, where you would normally hit the drum, and he was using the handle end.
For sure, some people do that, and I'm starting to learn that technique now of shifting down. So if I want to kind of do more like accented stuff on the bell of the ride and stuff, I'll use obviously the barrel. And then if you want like a harder hit or just really good rim shots, then you can move it down to the thicker end. But I use like 5As because they're closer to a jazz, because I kind of like, I'm more busier with my hands and the feet. So I kind of like that freedom yet again. And if you're doing certain things or you want accents on the hi-hat or very like Copeland stuff, I find there's the right balance between rock and being a little bit more technical with the 5As for me. Where if you are right, though, by moving up to 5Bs, for example, the balance is completely different. So my rolls do become a bit more nastier, like they are heavier and stuff, but I can't get those accents on the hi-hat. So there's a definite, it's like the pick thing. It's exactly what you were on about there. There's a slight, you kind of have to work out the balance. So I think with the stick company I'm with at the moment, I'm going to work out a balance between the two of like a hybrid between a 5A and a 5B, maybe make them a little bit longer. So I got the balance. So yeah, exactly the same, man. It's just the tools of the trade, but that took me, I mean, I don't know when you figured that perler out. That took me years to work that out. I just kind of grabbed sticks because I never had anybody kind of show me the way or advise me right. They kind of just, yeah, they'll do. And I went through, I don't know how many makes, whether it be Vic Firth or whatever, and you just kind of just pick them up and hit the drums with them. You know what I mean? There was no thought into what can make you a better musician, like, you know. So
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I just kind of ended up with the pick that I got shoved in my hand. So like, I think it was more like a like Gibson USA picks. You had like soft, medium, or hard. You know, they weren't even the kind of millimeter points that you get now, because they're just, I mean, this is 0.88. You just think, well, why didn't they do a 0.87 or a 0.90? Why 0.88? You know what I mean? But yeah, I suppose after you've been playing for like years and years and years and stuff like that, you just try different things. You get bored and you think, oh, I wonder what that's like, or you start reading about your favorite players and stuff. And because I suppose I didn't really, when I started playing guitar, there wasn't like YouTube or, you know, like I wasn't even getting guitar magazines or anything like that. It was just music that I was exposed to through my interactions with other people, generally older or kids at school or whatever. And you don't really know about things like, you know, guitar string gauges and pick gauges and different brand picks and all that kind of stuff. You just, I mean, when you got a guitar in your hand, you're just happy to be playing a thing, you know what I mean? So it takes a long while before you start to really unpick that stuff and figure out what works for you. But yeah, I mean, I'm still doing it now. Sometimes on my string gauge that I use, it's like, because I play 7 strings pretty much all the time. So it's like 10 to low 60, but the B string is down like from 0.13 to 0.12, which is probably completely fucking pointless. And I don't know why it's like that, but I ended up with a load of custom gauges from Dunlop, and I've been using them for ages now. And I can notice a difference, weirdly, even though it's just like nothing. Anyway, this is all very like boring and technical.
No, but it's not, bro. It's got you to the level that you're at now. Do you know what I mean? Those small differences is the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
and like, when did you start? When did it all start for you then? Like, how old were you when you first picked up a guitar, and what was the reasons for you picking up a guitar?
I mean, we're going back a while now. What is it, like 27 years or something? But yeah, I went to. I was kind of probably already into music and that as a kid anyway, just like plonking about on the piano and stuff, not really understanding what I was doing, but managing to get some sort of tunage out of it. But it weren't really until like I think I probably discovered like Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction at about 9 years old. I think Paradise City probably came out when I was born in 81, and that came out in probably 89, so I was probably about 8 or something. Heard it on the radio. A bunch of my friends at school had heard it, stuff like that, and I think I was just like really into it. But because it came with like a parental advisory sticker on it, you know, being 8 or 9 years old, you can't just walk into the, you know, what was it, Andy's Records then or something, and just buy it, you know what I mean? Because you'd have to be 18 or over. So I managed to get hold of a copy from someone. And that's pretty much all I listened to for ages, you know, like listening to like Night Train and stuff like that and trying to figure out what was going on there. And it really started to make me like look at all the inner sleeves, and, you know, because I didn't know who Slash was, I didn't know what he looked like. So I just try and sort of like guess who that was on the inner sleeve and stuff like that. And just think, you know, they're all like sat there in some cafe somewhere in Hollywood, just looking cool or whatever. And I kind of just thought, yeah, fuck, I wanna do that. Didn't manage the looking cool part, but I managed to fucking do music. But yeah, so I went to like boarding school. I got shipped off, and then I was there for probably like the first year. I was about 12 years old then, and I think a friend of mine had got like a stack of Guns N' Roses books and an electric guitar or whatever. And because they had like practice rooms there and stuff, they had like just random acoustics like laying around and stuff like that. So I just started kind of learning just odds and ends bits of Guns N' Roses songs. I never really learned a whole song, I don't think. I mean, that didn't come until much later when I was doing cover bands, you know, on the weekend. But yeah, I realised I was kind of picking it up pretty quickly. And then I got my dad to just go and buy me. He bought me like a cheap £100 guitar and an amp or something and then from then on, I never put the thing down. And that's kind of it, really. It's just been from that moment right up until now, just having various different guitars, going through various different, you know, music styles. I mean, going from things like Guns N' Roses and Extreme to Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, and then when I went, I didn't really discover pretty much what would be the core of my influences and from my playing style now until probably 16 when I got to college. And there was a guy in the year above me who was he knew everyone from, like, you know, Dream Theater. I mean, I don't mean personally, I just mean in his CD collection. He had like Dream Theater, Racer X, all the Paul Gilbert stuff, like Zakk Wylde, Live with Ozzy Osbourne, all that kind of stuff. I literally just discovered all this stuff in probably a week, and it just melted my head. And then I spent the next, I don't know, 20 odd years trying to understand that stuff, and yeah, just learn bits and pieces, really. That's it.
So you had lessons then, or?
No, I did try. There was one geezer that I learned the blues pentatonic scale off, and then I kind of thought I knew it all after that. I was like, oh, well, that's it. You know, that's the root of everything that I've been listening to. And plus the fact I didn't really, you know, he was quite cool, but then I remember he put me in for like a guitar exam at what was Academy of Contemporary Music in Guildford. It was like the old premises. And there was a guy, I remember there was a guy there. He was called Bruce Dickinson, but it weren't the singer for Iron Maiden, it was another guy. And he's the only one I remember. But yeah, I went for this guitar exam, and I remember it was a guy called Ewan Smith, I think his name was. He might have wrote for Guitar Techniques magazine or something. I don't know. I might have even got his name wrong. I don't think he's around on the scene now. I certainly haven't seen anything he's done for a while. But I just remember him being like really moody and miserable, and he just looked like he didn't really want to be there. I did my guitar exam, failed miserably, right? But afterwards, I was just like down in the sort of main performance area bit, and they had like a few amps in there. I think they had like a Trace Elliott amp in there. I just plugged into it and he was just playing. And I think the geezer that was running that place had just been like listening to me just like freestyle playing or whatever. And I don't remember the conversation obviously because it was that long ago, but he came up to me and he was like, you know, saying that he thought I had a really good like raw natural talent or whatever from just what I was playing. And I told him that I was there doing my grade 1, not a failed guitar, but ability wise, I was way further than that. It's just the stuff they get you to play for these guitar exams. It just ain't real world shit that you need to know. I mean, it's like anything with exams and education. I mean, most of that stuff you do just to jump through hoops to show that you can stick at something for a while. Then when you actually get to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing, that's where the real learning starts, you know? Yeah. I feel like guitar's a little bit like that. You know, like you never really learn anything until you actually just go out and do it rather than sitting in a classroom. So they did mention to me that if I was interested in going there a little bit later on when I was a bit older, that they'd be happy to enroll me. But I never went. The idea of it was a little bit too daunting for me. I did try a bunch of different stuff. Like I went to college for 2 years, but that was more like performance and recording techniques. So that was just a DOS, really. That was a fuck around for 2 years, you know. Yeah, a lot of shit happened in that 2 year period, actually. I don't know whether I should mention it because I know family are watching.
Put it off here, man. Don't do it.
Crack on, dude.
No. I was just going to say, I had my first wank at 17. I was in an old abandoned house somewhere in Kings Lynn. Like. So that was good.
I love the CrowCast exclusives.
It's amazing.
Before you go any further, Bud,
yeah.
Before you go any further, there seems to be a noise. Everyone's saying on the stream here, a noise from your mic. Sounds like
it's not mic. It's my roof.
Right.
It's raining and you can hear it. It's just a loud, like, constant tapping on the ceiling. So it's not crackling from the mic. It's the rain on my roof, unfortunately. But normally, if I'm not going straight into my interface doing this sort of thing, I put a noise gate on the thing so it doesn't. My voice is the only thing that opens it out.
Yeah, man.
Because it's not distorting. It's fine.
No, you're clear, mate. Yeah, you're crisp and clear.
So sorry.
You developed a lot yourself, then, man. That's fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's always been my thing, is just to be able to like listen to stuff and figure it out rather than be in a classroom. Because I suppose the point I was getting to was like I tried the education thing and it never really worked for me because I never really had like a routine or a set thing. Right, I'm going to sit down in 20 minutes. I'm going to do this, or for half an hour I'm going to do this. I just sort of played guitar until I put it down, and usually that'd be all day. And that was probably, you know, when you're a kid or whatever, you've got no other responsibilities. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to work. Don't have to do nothing. So I spent all my time doing that. It was more of a social acceptance thing as well for me because, like, I was never really amazing at sport. I sort of did football for a bit, but that was kind of short-lived, and that's it. But you know, once like people find out you can play guitar, even if you can just play 3 chords, it's the most impressive thing because it's something that the majority of kids can't do at that age, I suppose.
Yes, mate. Well, we were talking about this on another show where when Nirvana exploded around like 94 or whatever, everybody wanted to be in a band, and we've joked about it going, we can fucking do that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, at the time we were like, you know, I was playing drums, he was always singing, playing guitar and stuff, and then you had the poor buggers who were like, shit, I gotta learn something, and we were always like, well, this is kind of what we do anyway, like, do you know what I mean? So I completely relate to that, man. Yeah.
And the whole essence behind you know, you learning the basics and saying you learn sort of like the blues scale and then finding your own path. You can always see the people who like take it to the next level because they're experimenting with their own sort of, I don't know, the personality. You know, your technique, dude, is like no other. Do you know what I mean? And probably because of that reason, because you went and did your thing, instead of being contrived and sort of taught a certain way.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've always said that my playing is just, as it is now, is just a series of workarounds. So I've just found things that I can't do, and then just sort of got around it by things I can do, and then just by a process of elimination, really.
Yeah.
So, like, did that push you? Like when you said about college and stuff, then and it didn't work. Did that push you into the band scene? Did you just fall into a crowd with similar kind of fucking outlooks and stuff, or?
Yeah, I mean, because it was like performing and recording techniques. So you were like in the studio, just like playing and I mean, this was like the 90s, mid 90s. So recording techniques, it ain't like firing up a laptop now and plugins and drum samples. It just wasn't that. So like you go in the control room and it just have like this massive fucking desk and you just be like, I don't know what I'm doing with that, and then I just switch off, because if I don't have a slight idea about something and it seems completely alien to me, I just, for some reason, my brain just can't get into it. So that just became a DOS, really. But I did meet some lifelong friends there. One guy was a singer, other guy was a drummer, and the singer had a mate who played bass, and we started a weekend pub band, basically, just going around. So every weekend we just do like cover gigs all around sort of King's Lynn area, Attleborough, basically as far as we could sort of drive, which wasn't far because I couldn't drive, and I think the drummer was the only one who could. So but yeah, that was a good like learning experience, just getting in jamming and that whole thing. So
you know, when you were doing those pub gigs,
yeah.
I mean, like, thinking about that now, Andy James doing covers, right? That so were you like the person that were like, oh, you come to solo and then just rip it a new one? Like you would improvise, you would make it sort of sweeter, or do play it by the book? Do you know what I mean? Copying the cover.
Well, I mean, it wasn't always a great experience for the listener or even me, to be honest with you. But it's just like, I remember doing one gig in somewhere called the Queen's Arms in King's Lynn, right? And I remember my stepdad at the time, because that's why I lived in that area. Because I'm not from Norfolk, but I lived there for a long time.
Whoa. Hang on, you know Welsh?
No.
What?
Definitely not, mate. Definitely not.
Never mind, bro.
Yeah. So I remember at half time he came up to me and in front of the whole pub just like basically had a go at me for playing like shit. He was like, what the fuck are you doing? It just sounds terrible. You need to sort it out for the second half. I was like, all right, you're not even my dad. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't even let my dad speak to me like that, let alone him. But anyway, I don't know, because he played guitar and he was a guitar player. So I didn't take it badly. I think it was a bit of a shock for me to kind of hear that, because obviously, you know, when you know a load of licks and tricks and you get up and you do think you're the dog's bollocks. Yeah. And then you realise you're not. And then the whole pub realises you're not, because he's just heard your stepfather tell you you're not. I don't know, I seem to remember for some reason that was a bit of a turning point for me, like, because he'd always say, oh, you know, you're technically great, but you don't know how to construct a solo, like, you don't fucking listen to what you're doing. I mean, he was pretty harsh, to be fair, but I did get on with him. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like we never got on. And I suppose I listened to him because he was a guitar player and he did play a bit, but he was one of those that he didn't really play that much. So he'd only ever get out tapes of things that he'd done. So I don't know if it really was him on tape, but it sounded pretty impressive. So I was just like, all right, well, maybe he's got a point. And I think from that point onwards, it always made me have this like split focus on, like, I didn't want to forget about the technical side of things, because obviously that's like some of the most fun you can have on guitar. Whether it's musically pleasing to someone else, it doesn't really matter. It's like, if you're having fun and you're doing what you're doing and it's all right, then that's all that matters. But I suppose I thought at some point I wanted to try and do music and write songs that people would actually listen to for longer than 30 seconds. Especially with guitar-driven music, it's really hard to do because it's a very, very niche thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think I've always had that kind of lesson burnt into the back of my head of like, so I guess now with any of my instrumental music, if you've heard it, there's normally a pretty good balance between, you know, what some guitar players might deem impressive or whatever, and then the rest of it is kind of molded into some sort of song that you might want to listen to more than once. And it's all about trying to find the best way to do that. And I guess my instrumental career has been all about that. I mean, I get the odd, you know, it's just a shredder, I can't find, you know, no feel, fucking this, that, and the other. But I mean, I've done enough now where anyone that says that usually has probably only ever heard one song and judged, or maybe not even a whole song, just judge like a 30-second clip rather than, you know, because there's plenty of videos where you can go, yeah, well, check this out then. Oh, right, yeah, cool. So a shredder that can actually, you know, play melodically and actually have decent vibrato and all that sort of stuff. With, you know, so like,
you can definitely hear that in your stuff, and it's no question. But you got your melodic parts, and then it's like, check this out, and then you rip it. But like, was it an age or a point in your career where you leveled up, where you knew you'd leveled up, where you weren't your average guitar player anymore, and you were getting the acknowledgement of other sort of musicians? What when you knew?
No, I don't know, because like I mean, even now I don't have that. I don't have that opinion really. I mean, obviously because I live with it, like what I do every day. It's not that impressive really. I mean, not to me certainly, but I mean, I suppose when you start getting, you know, recognition from maybe people that you've grown up and they've been your heroes and stuff like that. So like, I don't know, say for example, John Petrucci asking me to go and do his guitar camp, or you know, like people like Zach Wild following you on Instagram and, you know, knowing who you are, and, you know, just those kind of things. You know, when you start to get to that level where like you think, wow, you know, I've been doing it a while now, and the circle has just moved out and out and out towards getting closer to people that you grew up respecting and listening to and still respect, you know what I mean? And then they in turn know who you are. It's a bit of a, I don't know if I'll really ever get used to it, but at the same time, I've kind of learned that, you know, maybe it's okay to feel like you've worked hard, and, you know, it's not like you're not meant to be there. Because I suppose I have suffered from that as well, like where you just think, you know, what am I doing here? It's almost like imposter syndrome, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I don't know about, I mean, I'm still trying to sort of like learn stuff now. I mean, the amount of stuff I've learned in lockdown about my own playing and just like adapting it even further and just doing bits and pieces, it's mad. Because like, when you become, I suppose, a professional guitar player, you do it for a living or whatever. Ironically, you spend less time on your craft than maybe you would do trying to get to that point. Everything else kind of supersedes that, you know, like whether it be, you know, writing music for something, or you're doing lesson content, or, you know, you're doing all this other stuff. You're not really sitting there working on the fundamentals of what you do. So I haven't really sat down and done that for a while. So lockdown's been pretty good from that point of view. So I'm kind of back to what I used to do when I was like 16, 17 years old, just sit there and dissect my own playing, you know. Yeah.
I completely, well, this is what me and Shane have been discussing for months, of when you take everything else out of the equation, the rat race life, just everything, I could really zone in on what I've been doing, like, you know, and focus on, like what I said to you earlier, even what am I actually playing by there? Never mind just fucking hitting them, or, you know, I'm a bugger for listening to melodies with, I don't do like mathematical drumming. I don't do, oh, right, it's that over that with that amount of beats. I tend to listen to a guitar lick or a vocal line and kind of drum to that. But what lockdown has done for me is kind of zone in on, what am I actually doing here? How many beats am I playing here? What is the note value of that? And then translating that to all these gadgets that's going on now, and then going, right, so that's what it looks like in waveform. And you know what I mean? It's just really fucking mint for that. Like, it's just been a real, and like you said, it's not going to college, it's not going to school, it's in your own time, it's exciting you. And then I've enjoyed going on YouTube, because that's what I was going to say, like yourself and other people who are fucking smashing the online scene. It's just been great to kind of go and have a look at that and get vibe from it as well, like, you know. So it doesn't matter if it's a drummer looking at a guitarist or something, it's still, I don't know, it still kind of encourages you, or it inspires you, because you listen to a guitar lick and go, oh wow, I would do this drum beat there, or I would do that, or and then you go off into your own little world then, and you're creating, like, and that's what it's all about, like, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're in a band, that's sort of what you instinctively do anyway. You know, I mean, at least you should be like listening to what everyone else is doing and reacting in the moment. I know it's harder to do now, obviously, in lockdown and stuff like that. But at least if you've got the capacity to think that way, even if you're working on your own, you can still consider other elements of what you're doing. Like, I mean, I sat here and did a whole solo album on my own guitar and laptop this year because I had fuck all else to do, right? And it's interesting because when you're just doing that, obviously I'm a guitar player, so I'm going to be focusing on the guitar. But then when you come to actually write songs and you do like, you know, your own production and stuff like that as well, you have to start thinking about interplay. You know, like how like maybe what would a drummer do it? Because I'm not a drummer, but I don't know. I've always been a fan of like drums, and I've always like listened to like drummers in bands. Like Dream Theater, the two things I always used to listen to was Petrucci and Portnoy. I mean, the other stuff, obviously, that it's the sum of its parts, and you end up with the song and all the rest of it. But the things that always used to stick out to me was how you know, Petrucci and Portnoy would like lock in together, and like some of these like riffs and stuff where he'd do like all the tom fills that would follow the guitar, and all that stuff has always like fascinated me. And where would you put like a kick drum pattern to make a riff groove the best, and all that kind of stuff. Which is actually, I mean, drums is probably one of the most important things. I mean, whether they're live drums or programmed drums, it still needs to be the right drum pattern, if you know what I mean, to make something groove or move. Or so yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the singer, it doesn't really matter about that. He's just come in later.
It's true, Brett. It's true. But looking back though through your career though, dude, you've like obviously been in bands, and then you've done like, was it 5 solo albums?
Yeah, I think so, something like that. I mean, there's a sprinkling of like EPs and singles in there as well. So
what was your goal always to kind of be in a band and find the right band, or was it solely concentrating on the guitar work and being like this virtuoso? You know what I mean, like Van Halen-esque type.
Well, to be honest with you, it's really hard to like say what focus was, because I mean, like at a younger age, like I mean, you look at Slash, for example, which is like the reason I got into playing guitar. He was like my hero. I never thought about being in a band and doing that kind of thing, though. I guess I just wanted to be like it musically, maybe, and not so much the other side of it. But then it might have been a subconscious thing. I suppose I just didn't know how to get into, because that's the thing, when you're young and you're playing guitar and all that sort of stuff, unless you're immediately surrounded by musicians or you're in that scenario. Because like, you know, some people, they got mates that come down the road, you've got a garage, you can play, and literally from when you touch the instrument, you're playing with other people. So naturally you probably migrate to a band situation a lot quicker in that scenario, right? Whereas I didn't have that until much later. So I guess just being proficient on the instrument was my primary goal. And I didn't really think about the living side of it. You know, am I ever going to make money out of this or do it for a career? And I suppose that door opened up a little bit later. I was just working like a really shit job. I mean, it's kind of like nutshell of like getting into the industry and doing the band thing. But like I was just sat in work one day, just doing a monotonous job, bored, reading Guitar Techniques magazine. There's a guitar competition thing, and I think, oh yeah, fuck it, you know, I'll sign up for it. So I did, and went through all the heats and stuff like that, and then ended up in like the final, and was sort of like lucky enough to end up winning the whole thing. But it was sponsored by Ernie Ball and a few other people. And through that, I met a guy called Jamie Humphreys, who he was then working for a company called Lick Library. He was also doing a bunch of other stuff. He's played with like Ozzy, Pink Floyd, and he's done a load of stuff with Brian May. You know, he's done like some incredible gigs and had a great career. Like, so he's not exactly nobody. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And he kind of must have earmarked me for a job that I'd come up with Lick Library. So all from this just one phone call going, oh, I'll do this guitar competition, all led up to this point. And then he phoned me up and said, oh, I might have a job opportunity for you. Are you interested, sort of thing? And at this point, I was just teaching local kids. I had fuck all the money. I was sitting in a guitar shop playing a guitar that I'd never even thought about paying for, because I just didn't have the bunts for it. You know what I mean? That usual thing. They just walk past every like 5 minutes going, you're going to buy that thing or what? Yeah, it's kind of like Wayne's World, you know, you're just looking at that thing in the glass case the whole time.
Not today, my good man. Yeah.
But then, doff, the phone rings and a job appears. So he just said, look, I'm going to hand you over, speak to this guy or whatever. And he was the guy who owned, or sort of half-owned Lick Library. And he just sort of laid out what he was thinking about me coming down. He said, yeah, good things from Jamie and stuff like that. So I went down there and just did like a video lesson thing. I just learnt this song, and then I guess they just wanted to see how I'd be on camera breaking stuff down. And I guess in that moment I started to think about all the instructional video, because my main thing, apart from learning from ear when I was younger, was learning from instructional videos. Notice I said video, not DVD. This is how far back we're going.
Yeah.
And there's Paul Gilbert ones were the best ones for me. He was the best teacher in terms of just taking something like a relatively simple idea and just making it sound incredibly difficult and insane, but actually the idea behind it just wasn't that difficult, which was good for me because I wanted to play stuff that sounded complicated that wasn't. So yeah, I remembered how he taught and then I just started kind of getting into that, and that was it really. But yeah, it must have gone well, because they said, oh, do you want to come in and do the more sort of heavy shred stuff then? And I was like, yeah, go on then. So that was my first proper professional job. And at the time I was still doing cover band stuff and bits and pieces. So I wasn't doing music live as a profession really, just as a few quid at the weekend. And then that sort of progressed. This is kind of when YouTube was picking up, and it wasn't as saturated as it is now. So I guess having a guitar video out there was easier to find than maybe what it would be now. But that started to pick up the YouTube side of things, and then more and more people got to know who I am, and I just did more and more lessons for them and stuff like that. And then afterwards I started getting more offers to do different teaching gigs at different places. But during that time I joined a band called Sacred Mother Tongue, and I think I got to know them because another judge at this guitar competition was Giz Butt, who played in The Prodigy back in sort of Fat of the Land days and all that. And yeah, we kind of hit it off as well as well. I mean, then we got on fairly well. We ended up sort of staying in touch and becoming friends. And he was sort of made it his mission really to sort of find a band, because he was always like, you can always do the instrumental thing. That's your thing. You do whatever. But I really think that you'll maybe crack the business if you could find a band that would sort of house what you do, but in a more commercial sense, I suppose. So he had the same manager for his band, The More I See, a guy called Rob Ferguson, and he was looking after this band called Sacred Mother Tongue, and they were looking for a guitar player because their guy had just left. And so I went for an audition with them, and that was it really, and ended up doing that for probably from about 2008 till 2013, 2014, something like that. But yeah, we did a couple of things. We played sort of second stage and main stage download, and we've done a bunch of European tours, and that was my first foray, if you like, into what it would be like trying to make it in a professional band. And I suppose at that point I thought maybe I'd try and pursue that, but the band kind of fell apart, a lot of internal problems. But actually, unlucky for us that we found out years and years later that we were one of Bruce Dickinson. I'm talking about the Maiden singer, one of his sort of favourite bands, because he used to play us on his radio station all the time. Yeah. And I think he had this idea at one point he was going to take the band out with Iron Maiden on tour, but we'd split up pretty much a couple of months before that might have happened.
Oh, no.
I mean, I just like to say though that the communication between management and band and all the rest of it probably wasn't as good as it should have been. To the point where if we'd have known that, we might have hung on in there, and I'm not saying that would have guaranteed any more success for the band, but it would have been cool to have at least done a tour with Iron Maiden. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that never happened, and then I suppose, so that ended, and then I was sort of. Relationship failed as well, and I went to go and live with my mate. I literally had fuck all, just a bag, and he let me stay in his spare room and stuff, and that was it. And then from about 30 to about 34, I decided to just say yes to everything, and I went and I just toured the world doing guitar clinics and just hammering the video lessons, and just like literally work all the time. And I think in that period, I kind of went from sort of being sort of known in the guitar community to sort of extending that quite a bit more, just through just trying to be positive and traveling and like doing different things, and that's it. So yeah, that 4-year period I think is probably like a tipping point for me in terms of like sort of doing it for a career, whereas I solidified it more as a direction for me in my life and what I wanted to do. And I had more freedom because I had no relationship at the time. I could just literally do what I want. And it was quite cool. And then after that, had a sort of brief stint with Wearing Scars, which is Chris Clancy. He sang for Mutiny Within, and he put up an advert on Facebook and was like, oh, I'm just looking for anybody to sort of like work with. And so I sent him like a message on his inbox, just going, oh, I'm looking for a singer to like write songs and do bits and pieces. So it wasn't long after that Messenger thing, he's like, well, I've got a bunch of material and I had some ideas as well, and we sort of banged them together. I went up to Blackpool and then we recorded that whole album that we did in about a week, and that was pretty swift. And then I was like, oh, I know the guys from Sacred because they're not in a band anymore either, and we just made that band for the short period that it was alive.
Yeah, what happened there, bro? Because what a band that was, man.
Yeah, cracking band. Cracking band.
Oh, fucking hell. You want to get into this?
Nah, you'll have to ask Clancy, mate, because ultimately it fucking fell apart because of him.
Fucking hell. Oh, there we go. We'll be ringing him up for this now. Clancy.
Now.
Hang on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We should do it. I'll
to be honest, again, it's one of those things where it's like the industry is just getting harder and harder to get anyone to listen to you, anyone to sort of like, and the thing is, the band had the potential to write great songs and just go on and do stuff, but it's just so weird. Like, people don't, if your face fits or you're not part of a scene or anything like that, it's like, I think that's a shame with music. It's like people that are in power that can make things happen are very driven by what's going on around, instead of looking at the individuals and saying, okay, maybe I would rather take a band of people that I knew could write and could be molded to do something awesome than take something where they don't really have the songs, but they got the look. But that's all right. We'll fix that in post later on and then do it, because the longevity just ain't there. And I don't know why people in the industry don't learn that, because it's like, because these fads just kind of happen and then they die. And then it's like, well, you could have worked with some real musicians, but you chose not to. So now you're kind of scrabbling around for new bands every 2 or 3 years because,
That's it in a nutshell, bro. That's it. Point made.
That soundbite there is exactly what's wrong. That's exactly what's wrong at the moment. That's fucking brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but you don't moan about it. You just get on with it, don't you? So we made the decision to sort of. Well, yeah. I mean, you moan about it, but not on live podcasts.
No.
But yeah, you fucking moan about it. Yeah.
So,
but
dude,
the thing. Go on.
No, go on, bro.
No, I was just going to say quickly, the only thing that's really been a mainstay for me is the instrumental thing. So that's the only reason why I suppose I've managed to underpin my career with something that I always had control over that no one else had control over, was the fact that I could just sit in a room, write a bunch of tunes and put them out.
Yep.
So otherwise, if it was just down to the trying to make it in a band scenario, I probably would have given up a long time ago, because I just wouldn't have had anything to keep me going. Yep. So, I mean, weirdly, I think probably sticking with the instrumental thing for as long as I have has kind of led me to where I am at right this moment. Because if I hadn't have carried on doing that, then maybe I wouldn't have got on certain people's radars, namely Zoltan Bathory or anyone that high up in the industry or whatever. So I already knew Charlie from Death Punch anyway, because we did a tour previously. He was a drummer for Angel Vivaldi and Scale the Summit.
Right.
So that was we already knew each other and stuff like that. And I think Zoltan probably found out about me through Charlie, because I've always been a Death Punch fan since American Capitalist, which is probably 2009, something like that. Randomly, I was working in a studio, and EMI label where they, with library music, they want want something to sound like a band, but they don't want to pay for the actual song. So they commission musicians to come in and do something that sounds fairly similar to what they're after. And so they send you these playlists and go, oh, you know, we've got a range of bands, pick some of these and write something in the style of, and, you know, that'll be the gig sort of thing. And one of the bands was Five Finger Death Punch, and it was like a song called Under and Over It. And that was on the playlist. And I remember hearing that thinking, fucking hell, these are angry, aren't they? And I kind of checked out the album and I just ended up, you know, really liking it. So that's how I found out about them. Little did I know, 10 years or 12 years later, I'd have to jump in on tour with them. But it's funny how that works out, you know.
So how did they get to know about you? How did that come about, Ben? When was the phone call?
Well, it kind of happened indirectly because Zoltan had initially hit me up about asking me if I knew any guitar players that were that, you know, that could shred, that sort of did all that. And I suppose he hit me up because maybe he thought I would know, seeing as that's the genre that I'm in. But I mean, off the top of my head, I didn't really know of anyone that, because most people that I know, they're in bands already or they're professionally doing something. So, you know, they probably wouldn't have taken on another thing. And I was kind of going through a bit of a really odd period with a band that I'd agreed to do some stuff with them, but I kind of wished I hadn't. But actually, funnily enough, this probably ties into the story a little bit as well. But because the bass player in that band used to be the bass player in Five Finger Death Punch. It's kind of weird. All these things seem to just be pointing in one direction. I mean, I'm not going to go into that because that didn't end that great, but I said, well, look, you know, I'm not doing a busting amount at the moment. Is it something that maybe I'd be interested in doing? And he was like, well, I said, I don't know, you know, I don't know if it's your kind of music or whatever. But anyway, as we got talking, he told me that he was helping a band, Butcher Babies, right? And he was looking for guitar players for them. And I was like, oh yeah, I know who they are. I mean, I didn't know them, but I knew of the band. So he put me in touch with them. And long story short, I ended up going over there to meet Henry and the girls or whatever, and we were going to the studio to work on some potential songs, you know, thinking about me joining the band and doing all of that. And in that process, Zoltan, he'd driven all the way from Vegas to Arizona where we were, just to kind of hang out and help us out with various bits and pieces with like the songwriting and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'd kind of flown all the way over to there. I was sitting in front of this band that I'd only just met, with a guitar player from a band that I happen to, you know, be a fan of. And I'm sitting in the studio improvising solos, just trying not to look fucking nervous. So it's a really weird scenario, you know, where you find yourself in those situations where you're just like, I know I'm kind of like dying inside right now, but I don't want to let anybody know that I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, you know, hit play, man, just fucking go for it. You know, you have to front these situations out. You can't, you know. So anyway, we kind of, I guess we'd sort of hit it off. You know, we'd sort of socialised one other time in that trip, and you know, he was explaining to me about nothing to do with Death Punch or anything like that, but just like you know, what I was doing and just getting to know each other really. So then I come home. And then I fly back out because I was going to do my first. See, this is the thing. I did like my first show with Butcher Babies. It wasn't really a show. It was more like Dime Bash, which was like it's like a conglomerate of different artists and bands that get up and do songs by Pantera. You know, they're paying tribute to Dimebag, and it's put on by his ex-missus Rita Haney, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like our big reveal. Oh, you know, we've got two new members joining because they were getting a new bass player as well. Ricky. And so we get up, we do Fucking Hostile, I think. Yeah, I think so. I can't remember now. And that was it. And so that was going to be my thing, you know what I mean? This is going to be my next band, the next chapter of my career, which I was totally cool with. I mean, the guys in Butcher Babies are great. We got on really well. And, you know, we've still remained in touch and friends and stuff. But during that period while I was out in LA, I get contacted just from Zoltan saying, oh, we're having a bit of an issue on tour. He didn't go into any like detail or anything like that. He just said, you know, would you be able to, you know, what's your music retention like? I suppose what he was getting at was, you know, what you like at learning songs. He didn't ask me how fast, but I found out fairly quickly afterwards. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, that's kind of how I learned. I learned stuff anyway, you know, just by listening to it and once or twice, and then it's in and I can sort of play it. He's like, right, okay, because I might need you to learn Five Finger Death Punch's live set to come and finish off the European tour. And at that point, you're kind of like, well, okay, no. I mean, I didn't know how whether this was going to happen or not, because you sometimes, I mean, I've been in situations before where this has cropped up and I've been like, oh yeah, it probably won't happen, and invariably it doesn't. You know, you get prepared for it, and I mean, I remember Padge sort of tentatively asked me once whether I would be able to just learn a bunch of Bullet songs because he didn't know. I think he was having like back problems or something at the time.
Yeah.
But that, you know, he was all right, so he managed to go and do it, and that was fine. But in this scenario, it didn't pan out like that, because I remember he sent me the set, and I didn't sleep that whole night because I was going through it all. Because I mean, their stuff is not. I know people love to hate on that band and go, "Oh yeah, it's just simple fucking shit" or whatever. But it's like, you know, especially from a guitar point of view, like Jason Hook is a really, really good guitar player. You know what I mean? He's technically great. He's got an awesome picking technique, you know, and you have to kind of have that shit down in order to be able to play it properly. So it's not the sort of thing where you just like, oh yeah, fuck it, it's a piece of piss. I can do that. I mean, I'm a pretty fast learner when it comes to that sort of thing, because having played myself for like 26 years, I can listen to another guitar player, I can recognize what's happening, and then I just have to get it into my muscle memory, and then it's generally there. It's not like I have to learn a bunch of new techniques. So I had that on my side, and plus I knew the songs anyway from just recreational listening. Yeah. So it wasn't until like the following day, and then it was like, oh, yeah, this is happening, so pack your shit and get to the airport. And so I did, and I flew all the way back to London, and then I just sort of stayed with the band until a few more gigs after Wembley, and then Jason had to go home. So it was like, yeah, right, let's go, let's do it. And then I just finished off the last 13 shows or whatever. I mean, fucking hell. I never played to that many people before. I never used in-ears. There's a bunch of stuff that was going on that, you know, quite frankly, I just sort of didn't really worry about it. I was just like, look, fucking hell, it's like you're gonna do this and smash it, because they're trusting you. You know what I mean? They're flying you all the way over here on the strength that you said you can do it. So you can't back out now. You know what I mean? But it was fine. I mean, they were all like super cool. I remember like the night before, the next day, obviously, they sort of sat me down and was just like, Zoltan and Ivan sat me down and was just like, look, we really want you to do well. We're not putting you under any pressure or anything like this. You know, this isn't like we're going to judge you or anything like that. It's like, look, just, we know you can play, we know you can do it. Just feel comfortable and do it. So they were totally cool about it. You know, they wanted me to succeed and do well with it. And that made me feel cool. And then, yeah, just like got the first couple of shows out the way, which, I mean, I watched back some of the video and it wasn't as bad as maybe I sort of felt. But I mean, maybe from the sort of performance point of view, I was probably just more worried about getting through the songs and just doing it. But obviously, when you're doing like arena shows like that with all the shit going on and everything, it's all about the show. You know what I mean? It's probably less to do with playing the stuff note perfect. So I had to kind of have like a bit of a flip in my mind, because usually when I'm doing instrumental shows, it's all about getting it perfect, and it isn't really about the show. It's a completely different thing. Because you've got guitar fans in the audience and they expect a certain level, especially when you're punting it out on record. They need to know that you can do it in real time. Otherwise, you're lying to your fan base. Yeah. But being in a band like Death Punch, obviously, it is technically demanding to a degree, maybe not as much as my own thing, but the focus is a completely different thing. And so it was a real trial by fire to like learn about a totally different headspace to be in doing that kind of show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it was a lot of fun. You know, after about show 3 or 4, I think management showed up because they wanted to see what, you know, whether their investment was still valid, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, they were totally cool as well. They were just like, yeah, you know, just have fun and whatever. But afterwards, they were like happy. You know, they were like, oh, you know, it looked like you've been in the band for years, you know, let alone 3 shows. And yeah, it panned out really well. So much so they've asked me to, you know, stay on, and I'm now a permanent member.
Congrats, the thing is, man, that's incredible.
It's
Cheers,
amazing. Well deserved, man. Absolutely well deserved. Like,
thanks. I mean, obviously, you know, it's kind of bittersweet because obviously I'm a fan of the band, I'm a fan of Jason and stuff, and obviously he's not doing it anymore now. And I'm actually genuinely not that up on, you know, the reason why or anything like that. Really, I think they just came to a mutual agreement in the end. Because I don't know Jason personally, so we've never conversed about, you know, the reasons why this has panned out the way it has. I mean, obviously I'm happy about it because it means that I can finally join a band that hopefully it's not going to fall apart, and I can do it and do it like properly, like I've always tried to do in other bands before that. But yeah, you know, I hope that, you know, he actually stays in the business and does something, because I'll definitely be checking it out wherever it is. But I mean, you know, my job as I see it now is to just kind of respect all the material that's gone before me and do it as well as I can do it, which is what I did on tour. I think it went over really well with the fans and they appreciated it. And then yeah, and hopefully I can bring something to the band moving forward that, you know, they've obviously seen that I can. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next chapter and record with those guys.
Any particular Death Punch song that you like, that you really vibe and you love playing?
Well, live.
Yeah.
Well, Jekyll and Hyde's probably, it's a good live song just because of like when that chorus hits and all the pyro goes and everything.
Yeah.
You can't see it but you just see all the, like, the things, like when you watch it back and all the lights shooting out and the pyro and everything, and just that kind of group chant style chorus, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's that was a lot of fun. What else? Actually, do you know, a lot of people ask me, oh, why didn't you go up on that platform? Because Jason had this like platform that went up like 30 or 40 feet. You know, I don't know how far it went. It looked high. I was just like, fucking hell. I watched him a couple of nights go up on that, and he was shaking, and I was just like, fucking hell. Yeah. I mean, heights ain't my thing, so I'm going to have to find my thing, you know, but it ain't that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can swing me from the roof, I'll do that. But fuck, I ain't going up. I'd rather come down. I strap a set of wings on or something. I don't know. But yeah. So there's, you know, there's that. But yeah, I don't know. Inside Out was always pretty cool. Under and Over, it's a good song because that's a real like thumper, and that comes right at the end. So you'd finish like Inside Out and then go straight into that song, and it'd just be pure energy all the way. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the thing though. That's like, their music is definitely more about that kind of like group energy and going out and doing a live show and the whole thing. You know, it's more than just, you know, let's try and write the most complicated guitar riffs or shred the fastest solos or whatever. I think people miss the point when they listen to a band like that, because it's like, it ain't about that. It's about the sort of camaraderie and the collectiveness of what the music allows people to do, you know, because it is inclusive. You know, everybody can sing along, everyone can get involved, and I think that's definitely, you feel that when you're on stage. And I reckon out of all the live things that I've ever done, I don't think I've felt it anywhere near as much as what I have when I've been up on stage with those guys doing that. It's insane, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, but that's it in a nutshell, really. But yeah, and then COVID happened and totally ruined everyone's fucking life, including mine.
I was going to say, man, that the timing couldn't be worse. But like, when for us at home, obviously, you know, when we seen you get the job, it was incredible, dude. And then we started seeing photos, and there's a couple I kind of found earlier, but they were too blurry to put on you, but you just look part of the band. Right. That's a true statement. Whoever said that, it does look like you've been in that band. It's like as if it was meant to be. Like, do you know what I mean? You just look a great fit for the boys, like, you know. So
yeah, cheers. I mean, it's I've actually thought about this, and like, out of all those, you know, sort of top bands that are at that kind of level, do you know what I mean? I actually don't think there'd be, because I wouldn't probably look right in Megadeth. I mean, I might be able to play this stuff, but Kiko looks way better in that band than I would. You know, and then there's other bands, like obviously Metallica are way bigger than everything else, and they've been an established lineup for a long time. But when you start thinking about them sorts of bands, I just don't. If I had to like cherry pick myself and go, right, I'm going to put myself in an established band at that level, and it would be that band. I can't actually think of any other band that I would, you know, look wise or even playing wise probably fit into that isn't something that I'm just doing on my own. So I don't know. I mean, I feel incredibly lucky that everything's kind of led up to this point, and I've almost naturally just migrated into that kind of thing. I mean, you know, irrespective of how the position opened up and all the rest of it. So I mean, I'm, you know, really grateful that that's kind of worked, and it does seem to have just been a seamless like move into something like that. So yeah.
Bro, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, lucky and luck is a huge sort of thing in any sort of line of work. But dude, the amount of work and the level you're at, bro, this is nothing but just your hard work paying off. And I can't stress that enough, dude. I remember speaking to, we got mutual friends, obviously guitarists.
Yeah.
Guitarists. Padge, one of them, just calling you a freak. You're an alien. You're not from this planet. You do stuff that other guitarists.
Well, he would know.
No, but and that's not because you're English, but I'm just like,
no,
dude, this all that work, all that effort, you know, like you just described everything now in this past 26 years, 27 years.
Like that, yeah.
Got this, but it's got nothing to do with luck, brother. It's just the sheer talent and the drive, and we applaud you. And
yeah, cheers, man. Thanks.
Man.
Yeah, I agree with Shane, mate. I mean, we kind of, you came under our radar as knowing you through Padge and people like that. And I remember like listening to your solo stuff. Fuck, you know, we were instantly like, wow, listen to that. Then we obviously met you when you were doing the Wearing Scars. And when Butterfly landed, I kind of told you when I met up with you, I was like, man, I'm such a fan of that tune. Never mind the band or anything. A song is a song, like, you know, and I absolutely love every part of that, from Chris's vocals to the whole tune, and then the solo. It's the right solo that complements that. We were in a different chat, not even speaking to you, saying fucking every part of that song is like it's meant to be, like, you know, and your solo complements it. And then obviously when that kind of didn't happen, we seen you go back to your solo stuff, and we've met you since there. But to see you land this job, man, you can see it's giving you yet another kickstart to another. That must be really exciting for you at the moment. Like, you know, knowing, I know we're in COVID, but like, let's put this to the back of our minds.
Yeah, it can't last forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got a new band. You're well capable, like you said. You can drop an album tomorrow. Like you got that in your head to write your own stuff, and technically you can keep leveling up on that, like, you know. But to join a band like Five Finger Death Punch, and to know, fuck me, you know, what is the future going to hold now, and obviously you've got your own material to push forward to those guys. That must be challenging and exciting, would it? Or
yeah, I mean, I suppose I try and think about everything in a sort of real world rational sense, because I know you can you kind of run away with yourself a little bit and think, fuck, you know, if you start thinking about the occasion or like what you're actually doing in grander terms, and just thinking, well, I'm just going to be sitting in front of my laptop, coming up with ideas and just presenting them to a band where you're just going to play in front of more people. You got like more fan, they've got dedicated fan base. Obviously, you have to take into consideration what's gone before and have elements of that, you know. So I suppose my mind just goes straight into like practical mode of like, I'm not going to worry about all that. I'm just going to sit down, write stuff that I think is cool, present it. If it doesn't get used, it don't get used. If it does, then cool, you know. And it's pretty much the same process from, you know, when I was like presenting ideas to like my then cover band all them years ago to try and at least do some original stuff in between all the covers and that. You quickly realise that no one's interested. They just hear "Sweet Child of Mine" and go off their head. See, oh, fucking hell, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Trying to write one of our own songs. No one wants to hear it. But then, yeah, so the process really hasn't changed from like then to now. You just sit and, you know, write a bunch of ideas, and if they get used, they get used. If they don't, they don't. But I mean, I should imagine something like Death Punch. Obviously, it's a very sort of meticulous way that they do things, and they do have a sound, and they've got, you know, a fan base. And I suppose, you know, you it's a fine line between catering for that and then moving the sound of the band forward. So I think that's probably going to be maybe the most challenging. But if I know Zoltan, I've known him sort of almost a year now, and he doesn't strike me as somebody that kind of just throws darts at a dartboard and hoping to hit the bullseye. You know, he'll probably just throw one dart and get the job done there and then. So I'm sure he has a plan of what we're going to be doing. But
are they all based around the same kind of area, or are they spread out? Or
Zoltan, Ivan, and Chris, Kale, they all live in Vegas. Hook was
Cool.
well, still is Vegas based as well. The only people that don't live there now are obviously me. I'm the furthest away, but Charlie lives in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that's
Let's be honest.
almost. You are sorry.
Let's be honest. Vegas or Bridgend? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I people have asked me this, right? And I mean, at the moment, it's hard to know because of COVID, and I don't know, you know, when they're going to start letting people in again and stuff like that. So that's a bit of a challenge. But like in terms of permanent residence, I couldn't tell you. The only thing I can tell you with any certainty is that I can't stand the fucking heat. I am not a hot person. If the band decided they wanted to go and live in Nebraska or wherever it's cold, Alaska or whatever, it's one of them scars. I don't know, whatever. If it anywhere where polar bears are at home, I reckon I'd be all right. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that Californian heat is a little bit. I mean, I can cope with it. It's just you have to wear a different hat. It bugs me.
I absolutely loved the desert heat. See, when I was out in Vegas, it is completely different, and it proper takes your breath away as well. Like, but yeah, for sure, I loved it out there. It's, you know, not like the
Bridgend all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're kind of just in the middle of doing renovations in this part. I mean, I'm glad I got this studio because it's a complete nut house down there at the moment in terms of just the state of it. Because we're having our bathroom renovated at the moment, so we ain't had a shitter for a good week. And I've just been going around. I've just been going around my mother-in-law's, you know, for showers every so often, and a bit of food and chat, you know. But yeah, that's it really. But yeah, I don't know. I like living around here. It's more out the way and like the rat race isn't as bad as it is in like England or whatever. Because we were living in Northampton before, and it's not the nicest place to live anyway. It was just convenient because it's so close to like Heathrow, and it's like literally an hour down the M4 to get there. So the only thing that's different here is obviously it's harder to get anywhere. It's just, well, it's not harder, it's just further. But yeah, you know, it's greener, it's sort of like nicer. I mean, we have been really hit hard with this COVID thing at the moment. So it's kind of unlucky from that point of view that we're living somewhere that is, what are we, tier 3 now around here, is it?
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is anymore.
No. I mean, we were on lockdown anyway, so I just don't understand how is this different now. I mean, as long as Starfuck stays open, I'll be all right.
I mean, like we couldn't fuck off. I mean, a week ago to Cardiff or Swansea, so we're kind of stuck in the area. I mean, I drifted down. I know everybody kind of watching this wouldn't understand maybe what I'm on about, but some people will. I drifted down towards Ogmore by Sea and realised that I was out of my district, which I've been going there for years. Do you know what I mean? So I had to turn around there like last week. I was like, fucking hell, that's not even Bridgend. So. But we are fortunate.
Who's policing that though? Like, I mean, who's going to know anyway? Like, unless you get really unlucky and you get pulled over.
Yeah, and I'm probably that guy, and I am that guy. Like, never mind the raves that are going on and shit. I'm that guy who's gone for a walk down the beach, and then they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't be down here, but here's 10 grand, 10 grand fine."
Yeah, I was going to say it's not here's 10 grand. I mean, imagine that. I mean, if you work for the government, they probably pay you 10 grand to break the rules. I mean, that seems to be the way of things at the minute. Like, they can do whatever they want, and we just have to follow the rules.
Yeah, man.
But I don't know. It just seems mad. That
we are fortunate though. I mean, we got the mountains up here, with the lakes and everything, and then a short drive down to the beach. It could be fucking far worse. Like, if you're stuck.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, where we were, it was like completely landlocked. So we weren't. I think the nearest bit of beach in Northampton's probably Brighton, or at least somewhere down south, at least. But yeah, at least here, you can drive 10 minutes up the road and you're on like the sandiest beaches ever. So
yeah.
Like I say, I like living around here. It's all right. It's quiet as well, But,
Yeah, and lockdown's taught us as well. We don't have to keep traveling now for fucking meetings because of Zoom and stuff like this. We always used to have to travel like 3.5 hours, 4 hours for a meeting about something, like, you know.
yeah.
Now there's no excuse, man. It's like, actually, just fire up Zoom, man. We can get that done in 20 minutes. Like, do you know what I mean?
So I did have a question actually, right? Because you guys have just been to Germany, right, to do your thing. So you had to go and get a private test. You couldn't just do one of those national health ones, what everyone else is doing.
No.
What is up with that? So the test is not good enough, but they're doing government policy on it. Yeah, you have to go for a private thing if you're going to go anywhere, because that test is seen as
it's bizarre.
Anyway,
and there's different procedures for these tests as well. So
right, would you have to bend over for this one?
Not again. But listen, we went all the way up there because we had to get a result back within 48 hours. And the NHS one couldn't guarantee it, even though I've known people have done the NHS and the standard one and they're back like the next day. We couldn't take that risk because all the flights were booked. And the procedure we went and had done, tell me if I'm exaggerating here on, as long as this is, right, this went up my nose.
Yeah.
Well, they just poke your brain.
Yeah. And they stay there for 10 seconds. They just do this. And then your brain feels like it's on fire, right?
What, they're tapping on your brain?
Yeah, they're swelling up your nose. And it's like this heat in your head that shouldn't be in your head. It's like a burning sensation. That everybody I know that's had a test down here has gone nowhere near up to their brain. It's just the back of their throat and just a little swab in the nostril. So I don't know, but our label paid extortion amount of money to get this test for us. So I don't know.
So yet again, all to do with the government demanded that we have this fit to fly certificate as well, and so it has to be like a fit to fly fucking certificate kind of on your email. So when we cross the border, we could actually show these certificates, which yet again the NHS one wouldn't have. You know, a text off the government wouldn't have done it. Apparently, it's fucking mad. Like, but Shane is right. Like my boys had the NHS testing, and I was trying to explain this to the family the other day. It didn't seem like they kind of went far enough. Where when we had him, it was like Ken Dodd and his fucking tickle stick. Like it was right up there.
Fucking hell.
He's up there.
It was right up there, like, you know, they got, you know, it was either that or we had a kinky nose raper, like, you know. So
yeah. Fuck. I mean, I'm just gonna stay where I am, I think. I mean, there's no pressing need for me to go anywhere at the minute, so I think I'm just gonna stay in here or house or studio, basically. That's pretty much.
Why would you go anywhere, dude? You got what's that Street Fighter in the background over there on arcade machine? You don't need to go anywhere.
It looks like Street Fighter, but it's actually got a PC in it, so you can play like thousands of different arcade games on that one, because that was the one I modified. But the Mortal Kombat one, it's just got 1, 2, and 3, and I bought it as is.
Mortal Kombat, yes.
It's the one I play the most. I mean, I've gone to the effort of doing all that work to the other one, and I just put Mortal Kombat on. Select Kano. I don't even have to move the joystick. He's like my player, always open. And that's it.
The one behind you, has that got turtles on it?
It can have, if you want it.
Excellent.
Why? If I get it, are you got to come round and play it?
Yeah, I'm coming round. We're coming round.
Right.
I used to spend fucking too much money on that game, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The old proper like 4-player Turtles one. Do you remember them in the arcades?
Yeah.
Fucking. And when Mortal Kombat came out, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was straight on that. The same as what's the old school one? Pit Fighter. That was like the original.
Yeah.
Like the original Mortal Kombat, that was, or that's what I used to think it was, man. It was it's fucking brilliant. And who was your character on that end?
Kano. Yeah, you know, the convict with the red eye. But I'll tell you what, I've actually thought about just sampling Mortal Kombat like a punch for like a snare drum, like just a whacking. If I can do it, I'll send you him. It'll be like a Liu Kang punch in that fucking song or whatever.
I love that.
Because it's so hard hitting. It actually sounds like sort of 2006 to 2008 snare drum in that punch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's got the reverb but baked in and everything. It'd be perfect. You wouldn't have to EQ it, nothing.
Hey, Andy, thank you so much for joining us tonight, brother. Really means a lot, Brad. We're so happy for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and before you go,
Yeah, thanks a lot.
we do a Crow Radio Spotify playlist.
Okay,
So can you give us a song so we can add it, and why you chose a song?
All right. Well, yeah, first of all, Shane, thanks for having me on the show. It's been a real pleasure seeing you guys. Yeah, and all right. Well, I mean, any other people you've had on here, I don't know whether you've had any Van Halen requests or whatever, but seeing as the fact that unfortunately Eddie Van Halen passed away recently, which funnily enough just hit me way worse than I thought it would. Turns out, I probably was influenced way more by Eddie Van Halen than I sort of realised, I think. Because my Van Halen period, what I was into was For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, Balance, and the Live Right Here, Right Now. So that was like the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour. Oh, fuck, I'm just going to say that because that's what it means. So the Fuck tour, and then that. So that was like my Van Halen period in college. I was just obsessed with it. So yeah, if you're going to play any song off that, I want you to play Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. It's off Balance. Check out the intro riff and the fucking tone, man. It's just that is the holy grail of tone right there.
I love that. Love that. And that'll be on the Spotify playlist, man. Andy, thank you for coming on, dude.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having us.
Congratulations, brother.
Cheers.
We'll see you soon, dude. All right.
Yeah, awkward silence. Right, I'm just gonna go. See you later.
Yeah.
How'd you get out of this fucking thing?
I'll sort it out. We'll see you soon, dude. All right. Thank you very much.
Mate. No worries. Cheers.
Take care, man.
Take care, man.
And he's gone.
That was awesome, man. Sorry if I cut in, but I didn't know if we were saying ta-ra without asking him a song to add to the playlist. So that's kind of being jigged as we speak in, and it will be uploaded to the Crow Radio, and we can put up this week's playlist, and we'll have a chat about that with the boys soon.
Yeah, man. Amazing. I'm so pleased for him, man. He's just like the best, one of the best guitarists there is. And I'm not just saying that. I know we had Chris Beck last week. Incredible guitarist, and he's a different type of guitarist, but what a talent, and I'm so pleased, man. I'm so happy for him. Incredible. Let's get the boys on.
Let's get Lloyd.
Evening.
Hey,
It's Shayna.
how's the boys?
Hey-ho. What's happening? You okay?
Not much.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. I do, didn't he? He's great, man.
Oh, fair play. No, well chuffed for him, man.
What about our guitarists?
Oh, turn your volume up, Dave.
Can't you, Dave?
I thought someone had a TV on in the background then.
Can you hear me?
Nope.
Oh, nearly there. Nearly getting there.
Loud enough?
Keep going.
No,
Is that
keep
good?
going.
Can
That's
you hear me
cool.
now?
Ooh, we're getting there.
Can you hear me now?
Are you talking properly, Dave? WPIG Aurora.
Are you there, Dave? Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you
Oh,
hear
a
that?
little bit louder. Can we go a little bit louder with that?
A little bit louder now. A little bit louder now. A little bit louder now.
New technology, innit?
I actually don't know if your mic is the right way around, dude.
I was just thinking.
Should we try that?
Yeah.
And he's in the room.
Dave-o, there we go.
Is that all right, though? Or?
Not really. Now it's on again.
Now you fucked there. Don't know what you've done now.
We're going to do this all night, are we?
Well, until we get it right before the chat room lights up and everybody's like, I can't hear Dave.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The Did You Know is going to be pretty shit if he can't hear you, isn't he?
Yes.
We had it then.
Yeah, we had it then. What's going on there?
1, 2. 1, 2.
You haven't got the pad
we are.
in, Dave. Is there a pad on it?
Pads off, I think.
You were lovely and loud then, weren't he?
Yeah.
1, 2.
Dave
1,
needs.
2.
There we are.
There we
Kev's
are.
at 80. There he
we go.
is.
10.
Dave needs a
Yeah.
mic tech.
Yeah, the bloody pad in, everybody.
There we
done, boy.
go.
Hey, Dave, did you know? When you fucking make round.
I think I got some dodgy.
Might be a dodgy lead.
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
be. But yeah,
Dodgy
just
lead, I think.
oh, that's lovely, and Dave.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
you're
Dodgy
right
lead.
in the game, man, son. Right in the
Yes.
game.
Listen
Um,
to me.
Yeah,
Listen to me.
there he is.
And he's back in the room.
Anyway, as you were.
Yeah, that was awesome. Absolutely brilliant. And what a fucking what a job to land as well. 5-finger death punch. Well deserved. Do you enjoy that, guitarist of the band?
Yeah, man. I was saying before my microphone didn't work. I used to learn songs through Andy James on the guitar school things, online things he used to do.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I used to do his lessons before I even knew who the fuck he was.
That's really cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I still got him on my hard drive, like all the downloads of all the lessons he do.
That's the
the
Andy
Ultimate
James
Picking.
Academy, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, if anybody who's watching now and you want to go and check out Andy's music, Andy's any of his videos, if you go to his Instagram, if you cool kids have got that, you can click on his link tree and it'll take you to all the relevant places you need to go. I think that's as much technical as I can put it, like, you know, but basically it'll help me out, boys, and fucking
It'll direct you to where you
Don't
need
do
to
it.
go.
I wanted to say the wrong words then. I'll tell you off air what I was going to say. It was very rude, but
Sound like a slurgan.
yeah, slurgan. I was trying to edit myself as I was saying it, but yes, if you go over to Andy's Instagram, click on the link, it'll take you to all the relevant sites, so you can see all his videos, all of his music, all the links to his albums and stuff. But very cool interview, boys. Do you hear that about the pick as well?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, that was the
Or-
good bit for me, because I was like, oh, it's not just me who's a fussy bastard when it comes to picks and strings. And
Yeah,
he's
Shane,
bang on what he was saying. It's like,
We got so technical in it, mate. I forgot to ask what you said earlier about the Kemper, but we'll definitely catch Andy for a drink and ask him that about how does he feel in a raw environment, and you know what's the score between that and a head and a cab, like, you know. So
yeah, I think it's just, so you know, as you boys know, I just need to like ask someone. I think, is it just me that I'm hearing things, or do all guitar players hear it and they just get on with it?
yeah, it's
So,
a fair question.
We shall find out.
He's got a fucking stunning little setup there, haven't he, with all the arcade machines and
Oh, fuck.
Mortal Kombat background. I had to ask him the Turtles thing. Lloyd, did you ever play that, bro?
Oh, fuck. I checked the private chat. It was in the high tide, man.
I didn't see that. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, it was in the high tide.
In the high tide.
Yeah. Well, I got one of those old retro game things, but but it's still not the same. It's almost like you need the
You got the
you need the mini little joystick with
Yeah.
all the buttons and stuff. That's the vibe. You need all of that going, don't you? Like, do you know what I mean?
I love the Turtles, man.
and you need the pushing of the shoulder.
Yeah, fuck off. Even me and my brothers growing up, we always used to bloody cause arguments in the house, but it was worth it.
Here we are. Kev's answered that question previously, Shine. I'm pretty sure Andy loves the Kemper.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does too, Kev. I'm still not sure what Shine does. That's the problem, Kev.
Yeah, what was the football game that you used to play before FIFA in the arcade? Can you remember?
Sensible Soccer was one of them.
That was one. That's not the one I'm after.
Pro Soccer, was it Pro Soccer?
I'll go with that one because I can't confirm it. It was only international teams.
International football, wasn't it?
Is that what it was? And it was obviously still
can
only two
remember one.
buttons. So one was the two buttons was like long pass, short pass, and then when you got closer, you could shoot. So you'd always like run it to the corner, cross it in, and try and edit it in or something. Do you know what I mean? It was like any arcade machine game. There was always little tactics to them, like when a little fucking end to end. Oh, there we are. Kieran Evans, World Cup. Micah said pro. Micah said, oh, Paulie Yates has said kick off. Oh, that's a good shout.
It was one of them I remember with the graphics.
It's
So the
kicking
grass
off.
the grass looked really long.
Striker, yeah. I'm gonna have to kind of Google that. Oh, hang on.
Does anyone remember? It was kind of like a
Temco
board
World Soccer. That's the fucking one. That is the one. It is
Who's
that.
that, Rico?
Yeah, it's Rico. It is that international. Because you should go Brazil. Let's be honest. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, France.
Or Argentina, actually. They were my go-to. But
Yes.
France is a good shout-out, Shine. But I know if somebody got into Brazil first, you'd be there. And if you beat your mate, if it's the right one we're all thinking, like say, for example, now you'd had enough and you didn't want to put any more coins in, you then go on to play the tournament as a one player. So you go through the grid session. And then if your other buddy comes along, he almost blocks you going forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the kind of vibe with it. It was the old tree, like, you know, so yeah. Sorry, he went off on I don't know. He disappeared, but there, buddy. I think he's still trying to get on. He's got PC issues tonight. That's what he's just messaged. So I'm sure he'll be here.
He's got PC issues all the time.
Personal crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, massive thanks to Andy James for coming on. Incredible guest. Like I said, it was a great story. The amount of times we've been out having a drink with him, Shane, I never knew he was pretty much self-taught, mate.
Oh, bro, I remember going to that party in Padge's house. And Padge was playing guitar, and then Andy took the guitar, and then Padge looked at me and went, "He's a fucking alien. He's not from round here."
Yeah, man.
Because he's just another level. Another level. There we are. Anyway, yeah, I'm so happy for him. Great stuff. This Jack Daniels is good, boys, I tell you.
Mate, I had to laugh when I was watching, obviously, like off air. I was watching, and you just done it then. You picked up you went for a 71, I guess, to the camera. I thought, fair play to him. Look at him. Go on, get it down, you son.
I think what I'm laughing at is it's infectious, because the first thing I'm thinking is next week I am definitely getting on the sauce. And secondly, the amount of people tonight who are going to have an early night, they've checked in and they're either drinking brandy, now whiskey, they've opened a bottle of wine. It's Tuesday night, isn't it? I've forgotten about that. So next week, definitely a few little tickles. You know?
I tell you another funny thing that made me laugh with boys was Shane. I was watching. Shane went, "Let's be honest. It's either Bridgend or Las Vegas."
Yeah, it's much of a muchness.
Just tickled me, man.
Yes,
Right,
Tanya, are you married, Mr. Greenall? Always, Tanya, always. Well, that's not true, but more often than not.
Drinking with your mates, Deb has said. She's completely right.
Good segue, that is. Are you married, Mr. Greenall? Do you know what I'm doing?
I know where you're going. I know where you're going for this.
Should we have some images?
We will.
So we put up on the fan page some ideas for Crow merch. A jumper, maybe a t-shirt, 1 to 4, and you guys get to choose which one we put into production. Thank you so much for everyone that kind of voted. I don't know. Yeah, voted in the poll.
On the poll?
Yeah. Is it Paul or Pole?
Poll?
Paul, isn't it?
Paul.
Is it Paul? What is it, Shine? You're the politician.
Well, if I'm reading it, we all know I'm not very good at reading and writing. I would say pole.
Well, Pole is P-O-L-E. Paul.
As in like fireman's pole?
Anyway.
That means nothing to me, but
No, I'm going with Paul.
I don't know
Double
why
L.
I don't know why I went there. Sorry. I
don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It was 1 to 4. You guys had to choose. So basically, we come up with the idea. We're going with the most what's the word I'm looking for? Popular. So we went with number 1 because that was the most popular. You guys chose the Crow family. So we're going to go with number 1, which is the jumper. Ronnie, have we got the image?
Boom. There it is.
That there is now live on our web store to pre-order right now. But because it was so close between 1 and 2, we thought we'd make a t-shirt out of number 2, which was this one.
Boom.
So we have that in our store right now to pre-order. A jumper and a t-shirt. Look at that. Ooh, jumper and a t-shirt. Watch this now. A jumper and a t-shirt. Look at that. Duh. Week 31. So professional.
I got it.
And not only that, if you go to our web store right now, there's a hat. There's a new... Look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Crow family, this could be yours. Let it snow. Let it fucking crow. Look at that. That's yours right now. If you head on over to our web store. Those damn crows. What was it, boys?
CrowCast.com.
So in recap, what have we got, Shane?
We've got a jumper.
Oof.
We got a t-shirt.
Oof.
And we got a bobble hat.
Love it.
A jumper. A t-shirt. A bobble hat.
Love it.
A t-shirt.
Love it.
A bobble hat.
Shit.
We can do this all night, baby. We can do this all night.
Do you know what, boys? I've only just noticed this the stick on beard on the skull on the t-shirt.
That's he said
noticed
t-shirt.
There it is. Look.
Yeah.
I've only just noticed that.
Well, yeah.
Well,
And did
that's
you
fine.
know?
When
was the last time you had your eyes tested?
Let's do this properly.
Fuck.
Did you know the first 150 people who order, the first 150 people that order a
Jumper.
oh shit, yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah,
Or a bobble hat.
love it. They will get a personalized Merry Christmas card. Is that what you call them? Christmas card, even Merry Chromas. They will get a Merry Chromas Christmas card off the band. So they will get a personalized Christmas card off the band. First 150 people who order, Lloyd,
We'll get a Merry Christmas card from
There
the
we go.
band.
There we go.
Better get down Clinton cars before lockdown, innit?
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, all available right now on those damn crows.bigcartel.com.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, all those Christmas cards will be signed. So yeah, get them while they're hot.
Love it. First 150. Boom. Boom. On with the show. Shall we give something away?
Yes. So, oh no, what did I do with them?
What are you looking for?
Ah. So as we promised last week, we had these. Look, the Rock Palast set lists. We got a few of these. So we're gonna head on over to the Crow Wheel, and we're gonna do 2 at the moment. We'll do a couple later, but we'll do 2 right now. For one of you lucky members in the Crow family. Look at that. Over to the Crow Wheel.
Oof.
Oh, the wheel is back.
The Wheel of Luck.
What am I doing here? Oh, there we go.
What did you say, Shane? Oh, the wheel is back.
Can someone
The
text
wheel is
Dave
back.
to see
I
if he's
will
coming
do it.
back?
I'll do it right now.
The wheel is here,
He's
but
got
it's
a
Dave.
bed, I think, but
Here we go. This is for a Rock Palast set list. Who's it going to be? Oh.
Winning.
Samantha Mamfa Davis.
Congratulations. Samantha Davis.
Love it.
Awesome.
Oh.
We're going to do another one straight off the bat.
Let's do 2.
Here we go. We're not messing
Love it.
around. Straight in.
Straight in then, Shine.
Behave.
straight in
Yeah. On the pole. Jump on the pole.
Pole
on the pole.
And the winner is
The winner is
Oh, tense, isn't it?
Steve Nicol.
Congratulations.
Oh, he used to play for Liverpool.
Did he?
Do you remember,
Oh,
let's-
do you remember Steve Nicol who played for Liverpool?
Let's do it again. I demand a
come on,
redraw.
Ronnie,
I
up
would
now.
demand a redraw.
Awesome.
We're
We've
not
got,
having
some more
that.
we've got some more set lists to give away later on in CrowCast.
That is completely correct. I'd absolutely love to know where Dave is right now, but I'm not getting anything back. So
It's kind of hard to do the Daves Did You Know without Dave.
it is. That is correct. So what if we... Should we do what's the next line?
Yes.
Completely unorganized. I
Change-
apologize for this. Dave's got some technical issues.
Tell me the lyric. Give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. Tell me the lyric. Give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. What's the next line? What's the next line? What's the next line? I'm just thinking, did Joel sing along with that then? The announcement this
He
earlier.
knows it, but
Yeah. So this is basically the winner of this. This is a pay it forward. One of you members of the Crow family has got in touch and has basically paid for a piece of merch on our web store to give away to one of you lucky, wonderful people. And the lyric is, let me find it. 2 seconds. Here we go. The voices in your head. The voices in your head. What's the line that follows? Go.
I love that. Well, while we're kind of waiting for Dave to come on and we're working out his technical issues. So Dave, if you are listening to this, which a few people have said he is, apparently, stop looking at your phone, jump on your computer and try and get on, son. And we can do Dave's Did You Know? Because everybody's waiting for that. Does Dave know or doesn't he not? And do you know what? There he is!
Hey!
Nice
Hey!
to meet you.
Fuck,
Hey, Wall Dave.
Fuck, run like me.
It's all right, dude. It's all right. Let's, before we lose you, because we'll trek backwards by you. Let's get a Dave's Did You Know?
Go on in.
Let's give you a picture first, because everybody fucking loves it. David's fact or crap. There we go. Let's give you a solo. There he is.
You're twice as likely to be killed by a vending machine than a shark.
Is that up the bulk?
Apparently so.
What? I feel like frauds on him.
Oh, fucking hell.
We get your arm stuck in it and you die of starvation. I don't know.
Well, I never.
I watched that once on Beavis and Butthead, Dave. His arm stuck in a vending machine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's something like that.
Well, I didn't expect that. That was perfect, Dave. That's how you make an entrance.
Quick in and out, innit?
Quick in and out. That's what she said.
back. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, aye.
No one knows if it's bollocks or not. That's the thing with that one, isn't it?
Oh, your mic is a bit fluffy
Alex
there,
Marsh.
son.
Alex Marsh, true.
I'm having a right fucking nightmare. It's this 11 rack shiny you give to me. It's dodgy as fuck.
give it a fucking technical tap, Dave.
Yeah.
Go on, a good fucking womp.
Oh,
Good
he's sleeping
bollocks.
now. Dave's sleeping. Oh, he's back.
That's bollocks. It's kind of cut even at the moment, Dave. There's a few people saying that is that's true. It's a bit half and half. Bit like I like my Kelly. Sounding like a Dalek Dave.
Beans and tomatoes, like half and half.
Oh, Paula Yates, I say true. Oh.
Do you know the answer, Dave?
Sneaky, Mr. Winchurch.
The answer is bollocks.
I
was that?
heard bollocks. I didn't hear the first part.
Yeah. Oh, a few people say I'm going true. Lee Graham. Definitely true. Oh, fucking hell, Dave. You're onto something by there, son. You're onto something there. Shall I move on to the playlist, or have we got a winner, Shane?
We got a winner.
Oh, let's go there then. Breaking news.
So the line was, I can't remember.
The voices in your head.
Voices in your head.
Yes, I got plenty of them. The voices in your head. The line that follows, trust them, don't be easily led. And the winner is Ali Bear. Congratulations, lovely. Send us your address and tell us what you want as well on the web store, and we'll get that out to you. Well done, Ali.
Love that. Let us for 2 seconds. So, as you boys heard earlier, Andy James has chosen his CrowList his track for the CrowList playlist, CrowCast playlist. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then.
You know, the whiskey, you know.
I got a bit of a hot diva here. CrowCast playlist. And like that, the powers of B have updated everything, and here we go. So if you go to our Spotify, sorry, fucking hell, there's too much clicking now. There we go. If you click on that link, this is our CrowCast playlist this week. And we've got some selections from the band. Obviously, Andy James now has put his up there. Should we have a little chat about this, boys?
Yes.
Tom Petty, Free Falling. Who was that? I know why that was chosen. Was that you, Shiner? Is that why that was chosen, Shiner?
That was me.
Did somebody fall
Oh,
over?
them fucking death traps. There they are. Look.
Was that Scooter Gate?
Yeah. Or the foot. The foot was from dropping the amp on the foot. But yes, Free Falling was chosen for free falling off the scooter into a German.
Television.
Perseverance.
Yes. Andy James. Anyone want to read that out? My eyesight.
Daredevil.
A devil.
Excellent. We've chosen that for Andy. Iron Maiden, The Prisoner. That was my choice.
Hang on. Sorry, Ron. That's about a Welshman called Die, and he was a devil.
Die.
A devil.
Die a devil.
Like only the good die young, innit?
Aye. Billy Boy.
Those damn crows going down. Well, we all know why that is. Yet again, Shiner with the scooter.
Took one for the team.
Oh, I'm loving this game. Sorry. Back to it. Judas Priest. Free Wheel Burning. Why is that, Shine?
I chose that one because that's exactly what I wanted to do to the scooter, was burn the fucking thing.
I love that. Heaven's Basement, Welcome Home.
That's from me. It's just nice to be back home.
Back home from Germany, yeah, like boy.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
Tidy. Chris Rea. Fool, if you think it's over. Mr. Greeno.
Well, that's COVID, innit? Everyone thought, it's back to normal now, innit? No.
Madness.
That's one of mine as well. Because all of this is madness. It don't make sense. There's different rules, different regulations. It's madness.
Kill Switch Engage, My Curse.
That's me, that is. A fucking curse, all this technology. Fucking technology.
Can write this.
I think we're going to get Doctor Who on as our next guest to translate what the Dalek is saying. Only joking, Davo. Only joking. George Michael Faith, for the above reasons, same as the boys. Got to have a bit of faith. We're all going to get there, stick together, all our vibe. Bob Seger, Hollywood Nights.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. It's just a fucking tune, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fucking tune, isn't it?
No relevance, just fucking tune.
Good drum beat on it, like highlights, man. It's just a fucking tune, loads of feels.
Dave, it sounds like you need a strepsil.
I had some good feels this last couple of weeks in rehearsal and stuff, so it's good feels. So that's the connection.
It's like he's got a mouthful of wasps.
Sounds like he needs a strepsil, man.
And then Van Halen, which is Andy James, and there's more on there as well, guys. So yeah, if you visit our Spotify, something we're going to be doing every week. We will get you more involved. I mean, next week's going to be cool because we can give a little sneak. Next week's going to be a little bit of a twist to the show, and all of that. I don't know if that was, yeah, a little bit spooky, a little bit, you know. Ooh, do you know where I'm going with that?
There you
So
go.
keep an eye on the socials this week, and we will let you know who's on next week's CrowCast, and obviously what the fuck I'm on about. So there we go. But more importantly, check out our Spotify playlist, and they're the tracks we've chosen this week. Fantastic.
Yeah, man.
You're marvelous, man.
Should we save ourselves and give some stuff away?
Fucking hell, Dave, you're back.
I know. Turn the fucking posh mic off, didn't I? Fuck.
Here we are there.
Madness. Oh, back on Halloween. Right
Madness,
you are,
madness.
sir. Right you are. Another 2 German rock palace set list. Here we go. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Oof.
Mickey P.S.
There we go.
Congratulations.
That name's
Right.
class. That's a
Right.
class name.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. On the second set list, here we go. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Rodney Trotter.
Mickey Mouse. No. Ooh. Billy Cons.
Hey!
Get up, Billy.
The good trainers they are.
Dead Man's Whiskey, eh?
Billy Boy.
Billy Cons.
It's from Dead Man's Whiskey.
Awesome.
Is it?
Well,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a guitarist, eh?
he's very lucky.
Mm.
He's won a set list, which he'll probably give away on the Dead Man's Whiskey socials. Now is a surprise. What's the next mime? What's the next mime?
Brilliant.
Brilliant. So what's up next? It's
Devo.
Pro 2 set lists. Dave, how are you sounding?
Or another one.
Make it a good one, bud.
My sounding
Come on.
all right, am I? I'm back.
Make
Yeah,
it a
there we
good
go. I got so many. Right. So get a pen and paper for this one, right?
Hang on.
If you type in 52.376552 and then 5.198303 into Google, you can see a guy dragging a body into a lake on Google Maps. I'll put the number up on the fan page for everyone, so you can have a look yourself.
What have you done? Is this something you're not telling us? What have you done?
Apparently it's true. Apparently it's true.
We went from polar bears that were left-handed.
Somebody dragging someone into a lake on Google.
Apparently on Google Maps, if you type in those coordinates, it's there for
Oh,
everyone
you
to
have,
see.
yeah, you have got a true, Dave.
Yeah, too fucking right.
Chris Crew.
Everyone's going to be checking it out now. I don't know what you're saying. You're all going to be on fucking Google Maps. You are, though, ain't you?
You'll have a nice email off Google in the morning, Dave. Mr. Winchurch, can you please
Right.
retract your statement?
Yeah.
The servers are
That's not-
fucked.
It's not Google's fault, is it? It's the murderer's fault. Like,
Dude, there's a good fact. Tom Petty would have been 70 today.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
mm.
That's one of my regrets, that is, boys. Never got to see him live.
Me
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
Just-
man.
Distraught about that because I had the opportunity to go and watch him up in London, and it was one of those kind of like what we've said and Andy said earlier. I didn't say yes enough I was like, nah, you know, and kind of took it for granted. Oh, I can go and see him again. When he comes back around, I'll go and watch him again. And yeah, kind of sad that never got that opportunity. Love his fucking music. Great career. 70 today. Wow.
Dave, haven't you got a Tom Petty story, Dave? Haven't you, with your mum?
Oh no, she just used to work for Christus Records when they first came over from the USA. And I think they were looking for a drummer, and she was like the secretary or something. So I don't know, she did the paperwork or something like that. Something tenuous, some tenuous connection there, like, but yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
So, I think we should take this opportunity. I know we did it on Facebook, but Dave, that little trophy next to your crow there, look.
That one.
There
is boy.
Hey, thanks to everybody that voted for us. Therapy Through a Lens. Everyone that took the time out to vote.
Look at him.
Dave got the trophy, as you can see.
Dave's just won the lottery.
Every trophy I've ever fucking had.
He's going to take it down the scrappies.
Pure bullion, that is. Pure bullion. Ding, ding, ding.
There's a few people asking the Google search. Is that why Dave disappeared earlier? to set up what's
out before.
Yeah, to set up what's the next crime.
Yeah.
That's good.
I love that. So yeah, let's before we hand it over to Shiner, obviously we launched tonight. For anybody who missed it earlier, our new merch, which I can't find now, sorry. Our new merch. So we have a new
jumper,
new Christmas jumper,
T-shirt, and a hat. Bobble hat.
And a bobble hat. You
Let
lucky people. Let it crow. Let it crow.
Where can they pre-order it, boys? Dave?
Fucking those Sam Crows /bigcartel.com. Is that correct? Fucking, did I get that right?
Really?
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one-liner, shiner.
I love that.
Remember them days, boys?
Did the music come through?
I just looked at them photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear music.
I love
didn't
that.
Remember them days, boys, playing in front, playing gigs. Like, they were the days.
But the good old days.
Yeah. Right. So in that essence, I suppose, you just have to trust your own madness. Ooh.
Oh, love that. Massive thanks to Andy James for joining us on episode 31. New Christmas merch is available now. Don't forget, the first 150 people who order get a personalized Christmas card from the CROWS. Tune in next week. Look on the socials in the next couple of days. We'll reveal the guest and maybe something going on in there. Who you gonna call? Hey, who you gonna call?
Crew Busters.
I love your scary, Ron.
Oh. Well, we know that I'm more. This is the funny thing, right? We're in October. Before we go out, sorry, boys, I don't want to keep it any longer. But before we go out, we're in October. And out of the band, at least out of the band, probably in my old house and everything, I am more Pixar than horror. So this is like not my favorite month to be shitted up all the time. Like, you know, fucking hate clowns. So there we go, really. Bring on Christmas. Fuck Halloween. Sorry if it offends people. Can't stand clowns and can't stand being scared. Not my vibe. Bit more of a Lady and a Tramp. And a bit of Toy Story and a bit of Up and stuff like that. Absolutely love those. But yeah, started watching American Horror Story, boys. Oh my fucking god, it's
all right, isn't it?
absolutely shit in my pants. Shit in my pants. Yeah. So
I
that's
think you're
about.
more of a goosebumps man. You are.
Is that the one with Jack Black?
No, this is it was like an old, really old TV program, wasn't it?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
watched
it
one
used to
with
be
Jack.
books, didn't they, back in the 90s,
Yeah.
80s and 90s. And
Yeah, I'm not a wuss or anything. I just don't like things that fucking frighten the shit out of me. I love Bigfoot and aliens and stuff, but ghosts and fucking, do you know what I mean? Haunted houses and Spooksville and all that fucking shit. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Shane's laughing because he loves this time of the year because he knows how much it fucking shits me up, I reckon.
It's,
Shut your
Fucking-
pants. Haunted house scary, David.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
Can everybody just send clowns to Ronnie?
Oh, no. That's fucking it now, isn't it? Happy Halloween. That's fucking
said that.
great. Oh. So, yes, tune in next week for a very, very special show where we'll entertain you and I'll probably shit my pants. So, there we go. Take us out, Lloyd.
That's all, folks.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.